Good morning, all. Welcome to the Global Festival of Oneness. We will start with chanting. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyama, Asmad Acharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Parampara. Om Shanti. So, welcome all to the Global Festival of Oneness. It's a month-long festival which is shedding light on the different teachings of the different aspects of Sri Shankaracharya. So, today we are very glad to have Swami Japasiddhananda ji Maharaj, who will be speaking on karma in the light of Shankaracharya's commentary. Swamiji, Japasiddhananda ji Maharaj, he is the monk of the Holy Ramakrishna Mott Mission, which is headquartered in Belur. He is currently serving as the head of the department in the capacity of assistant professor in the Department of Sanskrit and Philosophy under the School of Indian Heritage at the Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda Educational and Research Institute. He has been awarded PhD on Vakyapadiyam from Vishwabhati University, Shantiniketan. So I think it is going to be the most insightful session. I invite Swamiji to start his talk.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Yathagnirdahika Shakti Ramakrishne Sthitahiya Sarva Vidya Swarupantam Saradam Pranamamyaham. Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। अत्र समागतानां सर्वेषां हार्दं स्वागतं शुभाशयाः च। हैदराबाद नगरस्थया इंडिक अकाडेमी इति संस्थया विद्युदन्तर्जालमाध्यमेन आयोजितः श्री शंकर जन्मोत्सव कार्यक्रमः वेदांतं जिज्ञासून् मुमुक्षून् च आह्लादयति। इयं च संस्था एतदर्थं सतां स्तुतिम् अर्हति। संस्था प्रमुखेभ्यः आयोजकेभ्यः परिचालकेभ्यः विद्वद्भ्यः अन्येभ्यश्च सर्वेभ्यः सेवाव्रतिभ्यः सस्नेहं धन्यवादाः। समेधतामेषां समेषाम् इह परश्रीः इति परस्मिन् ब्रह्मणि सम्प्रार्थ्य विषयः उपक्रम्यते। संस्थायाः अनुरोधात् आङ्ग्लभाषया उपस्थाप्यते। The topic of today's discussion is Karma in the light of Shankara's commentary. Though Shankara's Bhashya literature extends beyond the Vedanta, we shall limit the scope of deliberation to the Upanishad Bhashya, Gita Bhashya, and Brahma Sutra Bhashya. Karma or action is necessary for all, irrespective of the goal in view. The four sustainable goals of life, Purushartha, in the Vedantic religion invariably necessitate karma. We shall try to make a brief study of the role of karma in attaining the ultimate goal of life, Parama Purushartha, known as Moksha, the ultimate liberation. What is the means to this Purushartha, the Moksha? Brahmatma Pratipatti, the knowledge of the oneness of Brahma and Atma, is the means to attain this Parama Purushartha, Moksha. Realization of the oneness, that is the means. Shankara mentions this in Amshadhikarana in the Brahma Sutra Bhashya. He says, Brahmatma Pratipattau Purushartha Siddhehe. And again, in the Purusharthadhikarana of Brahma Sutra, it is in the 3rd chapter, 4th pada, it is stated that knowledge independently leads to liberation. Knowledge independently leads to liberation. No other condition is necessary. No other support or auxiliary is necessary. Purusharthota shabdaditi badarayanaha, says the sutra. There Shankara remarks, Asmad Vedanta Vihitad Atmajnanat Swatantrat Purushartha Siddhyati iti Badarayanaha Acharyo Manyate. That is the standpoint of the mainstream Advaita. That is the Siddhanti view. The teacher Badarayana thinks that liberation results independently from this. It refers to the earlier sutra and the Adhikarana. From this means from the knowledge of the self, Atman, as imparted by the Upanishads. Karma as an aid, as a support, as a help, finds place in this scheme, says the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, even while speaking on the Jnana Marga. It expounds, it propagates Jnana Marga, and even in that situation, karma is accommodated there. Esha pantha brahmana hanu vittastene te naiti brahmavit punyakrit taijasascha is the mantra. This is the second half of the mantra. There it is said, this path is realized by a knower of Brahman. There one part of the sentence ends. That is, one sentence is over, and again the other part begins. In the same, that half of the shloka, Esha pantha brahmanaha anuvittaha. And then again says, Tena eti brahmavit punyakrit taijasascha. Any other knower of Brahman who has done good deeds and is identified with the Supreme Light also treads this path. By any other knower of Brahman, we can include all the other seekers after Brahman, even up to this day. There, Shankara comments, Ayameva moksha margaha yaha atma kamatvena apta kamataya sarva kamakshaye gamananupapattau pradeepa nirvanavat chakshuradinam karyakarananam atraiva samavanayah iti eshaha jnanamargaha panthaha. Brahmana paramatma swarupenaiva brahmanena tyakta sarvaishanena anuvittaha. Tena brahmavidya margena brahmavit anyaha api eti. Eti means gacchati. Kidrishaha brahmavit tena eti ityuchyate. Purvam punyakrit bhutva punaha tyakta putradi eshanaha paramatma tejasi atmanam sanyojya tasmin abhinirvrittaha taijasascha atma bhutaha ihaiva ityarthaha. Idrisho brahmavit tena margena eti. This is said in the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya in the 4th chapter, 4th pada, 9th mantra. What does it mean? The commentary. Ayameva moksha margaha. Therefore, the path of liberation is the absorption of the body and such organs as the eyes in this very life. Like the going out of a lamp, pradeepa nirvanavat chakshuradinam karyakarananam atraiva samavanayaha. When transmigration is impossible owing to the exhaustion of all desires through their attainment by the transformation of all objects of all desires, through their attainment by the transformation of all objects of desire as the self. That is the Jnana Marga. This path of knowledge is realized by Brahmana. Here the Brahma Shabda stands for Brahmana. Brahmana means the Mumukshu, or the one who, Brahmana means one who has realized Brahma. He is the actual Brahmana in the Upanishadic context. Such a Brahmana who has given up all his desires. Sarva Ishana Vimuktaha. Tyakta Sarvaishanena Brahmanena is the word. Ishana means desire. There are many desires, infinite desires, but they are all grouped into main three types. Putraishana, Vittaishana, and Lokaishana. And all the whole retinue of desires. When that is given up, he realizes Brahman. That is the thing in the Jnana Marga. And becomes one with the Supreme Self. That is what is said. But after that, the mantra says, and the Bhashyakara has explained that any other knower of Brahman also treads this path of the knowledge of Brahman. What kind of knower of Brahman is he? Who first of all has done good deeds, punyakrit, and then given up the desire for children, etc., putraishana, etc., is identified with the Supreme Light by connecting himself with the light of the Supreme Self, is metamorphosed into that. That is, has become the Atman in this very life. Such a knower of Brahman treads this path. Here, the takeaway in the Bhashya is Purvam punyakrid bhutva punaha tyakta putradyeshanaha. Who first of all has done good deeds and then given up the desire for son, etc. In the Brahma Sutra Bhashya also, we find this in the Vidya Jnana Sadhanatvadhikarana in the 4th chapter, 1st pada. While commenting on the sutra, Yadeva Vidyayetihi, Shankara says, this sutra refers to the Chandogya Shruti, where the mantra says, Yadeva Vidyaya Karoti Shraddhayopanishada Tadeva Viryavattaram Bhavati. Here, Shankara says, Nityam Agnihotradikam Karma Mumukshuna Moksha Prayojanoddeshena Kritam Upatta Durita Kshaya Hetudvarena Sattva Shuddhi Karanatam Pratipadyamanam Moksha Prayojana Brahmadighama Nimittattvena Brahma Vidyaya Saha Eka Karyam Bhavati. When the Agnihotra, etc., are done for the purpose of getting liberation by one aspiring for it, they means the actions, the karma, become the cause of exhausting the accumulated sin, upatta durita kshaya, and thereby the cause for purifying the mind, sattva shuddhi karanatam, pratipadyamanam. becoming in this way contributory to the realization of Brahman, which leads to liberation. They come to have the same result as the knowledge of Brahman itself. How clear Bhagavan Acharya is. He says, they come to have the same result as the knowledge of Brahman itself. Who? Those who engage themselves in karma. Yajna yagadi karma, agnihotradi. But one thing should be remembered, they should have in view moksha. Then only the karma can help them attaining Brahman. This position that karma is an aid for cleansing of the mind, by the virtue of which one becomes eligible to pursue the knowledge of Brahman, is clearly stated in the celebrated work Viveka Chudamani, that famous shloka most of you might know. Chittasya shuddhaye karma natu vastupalabdhaye. Work leads to purification of the mind, not to perception of the reality. This is the Shankara standpoint, and it's logical too. Now, once the importance of karma and its limitation is known, one should in all earnestness set out on the path of realization, whichever path is feasible at one's end and most favorable to one's body-mind constitution, and should not exhaust one's energies in too much talk. Now we got to know that karma also can help us in reaching Brahmajnana. Now, we should not argue much and set out on the path of practice. On the other hand, if we argue and spend time on that, the Brihadaranyaka cautions that you waste your organ of speech. It says, Tameva dhiro vijnaya prajnang kurvita brahmanaha nanudhyayad bahun shabdan vacho viglapanam hitad iti. Vacho viglapanam, fatiguing of the organ of speech. You exert the organ of speech too much and it becomes weak and inefficient. The meaning of the mantra is, the intelligent aspirant after Brahman, knowing about this alone, should attain intuitive knowledge. Prajnam kurvita. He should not think of too many words. Na anudhyayat bahun shabdan. For vacho viglapanam hi tat iti. Vacho viglapanam hi, that he means for or because. What is it? It is particularly fatiguing to the organ of speech. Vacho viglapanam. What is this prajna? Prajnam kurvita brahmanaha. Sri Shankara says, Prajnam shastracharyopadishta vishayam jijnasa parisamapti karim kurvita brahmanaha. Ityukte, jijnasa parisamapti karim prajnam shastracharyopadishta vishayam kurvita. He should attain intuitive knowledge, the knowledge which is taught by the teacher and the scriptures, so as to put an end to all questioning. Jijnasa parisamapti karim, to put an end to all questioning. Evam prajnakarana sadhanani sannyasa shamadhamoparamati tiksha samadhanani kuryadityartha. Prajnam kurvita ityukte, he should practice the means of this knowledge, namely renunciation, calmness of mind, self-control, withdrawal of the senses, fortitude, titiksha, and concentration, samadhana. We got to know that karma is a useful aid. Which type of karma? It was said that nityam agnihotradikam. But in this age, what should we understand? We may understand that as worship or one's own spiritual practices as initiated by one's own guru. The methodology of spiritual practice which your guru has taught you, if you keep to that, that is sufficient. Because that also is, after all, karma. You may ask, we meditate, we perform japa, or we are engaged in the cogitation, the mind, the thinking on Brahman. Is it karma? Yes, it also is karma. Shankara clarifies this in the Shikshavalli Bhashya, the Taittiriya Upanishad Shikshavalli Bhashya at the end. These also are karma. That means what? Karma can happen at different levels. We understand karma as action, something which you move a heavy substance from here to there, and that is karma. That is a very gross, primitive understanding. Karma means the volition that you make, the action that you perform, maybe at the physical level, verbal or mental. Everything, all these are considered as karma. That is why now we can see how many divisions we can have in karma based on different criteria. Just now, as we saw, there can be shariram karma, vachikam karma, manasam karma. Shankara also mentions this in the Samanvayadhikarana of the Brahma Sutra Bhashya. He says, Shariram, Vachikam, Manasancha Karma, Shruti Smriti Siddham Dharmakhyam, Yad Vishaya Jijnasa Athato Dharma Jijnasa iti Sutrita. There the context was different, but there he mentions this Shariram, Vachikam, Manasancha Karma. In the Taittiriya Upanishad Bhashya, he clearly says even Shama, the practice of Shamadama is karma. Then one more type of division of karma could be Nityam karma, Naimittikam karma, Kamyam, Nishiddham, Prayaschittam. What is Nityam karma? The obligatory actions which one is supposed to perform every day. For example, Sandhya Vandanam. Those who are not entitled to Sandhya Vandanam may take it as the daily worship they perform. That is a Nityam karma. And then Naimittikam karma is occasional duties, occasional rites. When a son is born, certain rituals have to be performed. They are occasional. They are known as Naimittikam karma. Then Kamyam karma, the actions or rites performed with a set purpose. He wants to achieve something. Maybe in a place where rains have failed, people may all come together and perform some ishti, by which it will rain. That is a kamyam karma. Many more. If you have something, some objective in your life and you want to attain that, say you want to achieve enormous wealth. For that also there are certain rites prescribed in the scriptures. These are known as kamyam karma. Then nishiddham karma, prohibited actions. Shastras have mentioned that such and such things should not be done. Only that which is prescribed in the scriptures, we have to perform. That is nishiddham karma, that which is prohibited. Then prayaschittam, ityukte expiatory actions to remove the flaws, errors. Thus we have, this is the second type of division of karma, categorization of karma: nitya, naimittika, kamya, nishiddham, and prayaschittam. One more variety is possible. Karma is divided into three types: prarabdham karma, sanchitam karma, agami karma. Shankara has dealt with the prarabdha and sanchita karma in the Brahma Sutra Bhashya at anarabdha karye eva tu purve tadavadhehe. It is a Brahma Sutra, 4th chapter, 1st pada. Shankara says, apravritta phale eva purve janmantara sanchite asminnapi cha janmani prajnanotpattehe sanchite sukrita dushkrite ज्ञानाधिगमात् क्षीयेते नतु आरब्ध कार्ये सामिभुक्त फले याभ्याम एतत् ब्रह्मज्ञान आयतनं ब्रह्मज्ञानायतनं जन्म निर्मितम्. What does he say? The Brahmajnana removes only the prarabdha. Prarabdha means those actions which we performed in the past and now they have come to fruition. Now they are yielding results. That is prarabdham karma. Brahmajnana, though it is said, na, kshiyate chasya karmani tasmin drishte क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि तस्मिन् दृष्टे परावरे. मुंडकोपनिषद. भिद्यते हृदय ग्रंथिश्छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ते च अस्य कर्माणि कदा paravare brahmani tasmin drishte. When the Brahmajnana, when he attains to Brahman, all the karma are removed. They are all removed. Kshiyante. They get diminished. That means they will not bear any more results. No karma will remain. They will all be burnt, like the burnt seeds. A burnt seed cannot be sown. Even if you sow, there won't be any sprout. But here the question is, if Brahmajnana burns down all the karma, then how does the body continue to live, which also is the result of prarabdha karma, one type of karma. It is a result of karma. If karma is removed, the results should also vanish. There Acharya says, apravritta phale eva purva janmantara sanchite ityukte sanchitam karma eva nashyati asminnapi cha janmani prajnanotpattehe sanchite. Even in this life, in the past, he has accumulated much karma. Sanchita means accumulated karma. We have a storehouse, is it not? Over the births, over several janma, we have accumulated huge mountainous karma. We are unable to manage with that. That is our problem. So this is one type of karma, prarabdham karma, sanchitam karma, and one more, agami karma. Agami karma is that which will bear fruit later. That the deeds that which we are performing now, they will bear fruit later. Viveka Chudamani explains this by an allegory. The example of an archer. It says, ज्ञानोदयात् प्रारब्धं कर्म ज्ञानान् न नश्यति. ज्ञानोदयात् पुरा आरब्धं कर्म ज्ञानात् न नश्यति. अदत्वा स्वफलं लक्ष्यमुद्दिश्योत्सृष्ट बाणवत्. लक्ष्यमुद्दिश्य utsrishta banavat swaphalam ananashyati. How succinctly he has put the Acharya. The work which has fashioned this body has been manufactured by the work, the actions which we performed in the past, prior to the drawing of knowledge, dawning of knowledge. Before the knowledge has dawned upon us, all the karma which we performed will be reduced to ashes. They will be removed. They will be destroyed, but not the prarabdha. He says, but the prarabdha, the work which manufactured this body, will not get destroyed by that knowledge, Brahma Jnana. Until what point, which point of time? Without yielding its fruits. Like the arrow shot at an object. It's very nicely put. Vyaghra buddhya vinirmukto banaf paschattu gomatau natishtati chinatyeva lakshyam vegena nirbharam. The arrow which is shot at an object with an idea that it is a tiger does not, when that object is perceived to be a domestic animal, check itself, but pierces the object with full force. See, an archer is standing there, a hunter, he has discharged an arrow at the target. At that time, he thought that it was a tiger. But the very next moment, he realizes that it is a domestic animal, a pashu, maybe a cow or something else. Then now he wants to withdraw the arrow. Is it possible? He has shot the arrow and the arrow is now speedily moving towards the target, and now you can't do anything. That is how prarabdha is. The prarabdha karma is like an arrow that which is shot from the bow, and it has to bear its fruit. You can't stop it. Prarabdham balavattaram khalu vidam bhogena tasya kshayaha samyajnana hutashanena vilayaf praksanchitagaminam. Viveka Chudamani. Praksanchita agaminam vilayaha. Only the sanchita karma and agami karma gets destroyed by the Brahma Jnana and not the prarabdha. It is balavattaram khalu vidam bhogena tasya kshayaha. That has to be experienced in one's life. Prarabdha work is certainly very strong for the man of realization, and it is spent only by the actual experience of its fruits. While the actions previously accumulated and those yet to come, that is prak sanchita and agami, previously accumulated and those yet to come, are destroyed by the fire of perfect knowledge. Samyajnana hutashanena. That is why it is said, Na bhuktang kshiyate karma kalpa koti shatairapi abhuktang karma na kshiyate. Before the karma works out its fruits, it will never get exhausted. Avashyameva bhoktavyam kritam karma shubhashubham. The meritorious deeds and the vicious actions, whatever we have performed, we have to take the results. We can't escape that. The archer allegory, that is very easy to understand. Let us assume an archer is standing here, and in the quiver, he has at the back a store, a bunch of arrows. They are like sanchita karma. They are there ready for use. But then there is one more arrow which the archer holds in his hands. He has stretched the bow and the arrow is still in the bow. He has not yet discharged it. That is the agami karma. Because now it is in our hands, we can monitor that. But then the other arrow which he has already shot, that is prarabdha karma. These three things. The arrow that is shot is prarabdha karma. That which is ready to be discharged now in the hand, that is agami karma. And that which is kept at the back in the bag, in the quiver, that is sanchitam karma. Here, Swami Vivekananda says, at least you have one chance now. The agami karma is in your keeping. You can use it in the best possible way and give the best shot possible. You use it in such a way that it will nullify some other karma also. That is why Swamiji, the time and again he said, you are the maker of your own destiny. So this prarabdha, sanchita and agami karma we have to understand. Here an interesting input we get from Swami Vivekananda, who says that avatars are kapala mochanas and they can alter the doom of people. Means even the prarabdha karma can be wiped out by an avatara purusha. He can give a turn, he can change that. This is very interesting input we get from Swamiji. Next, one more division of karma would be Satvikam, Rajasam, Tamasam karma. In the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we find the criteria of each of these. Bhagavan says, Niyatam sangarahitam aragadveshatah kritam apalaprepsuna karma yattat sattvikam. The daily obligatory action which is performed without attachment and without likes or dislikes by one who does not hanker for rewards, that is said to be born of sattva guna. Shankara writes, Niyatam nityam sangarahitam tivarjitam ragadve prayuktena dvesha prayuktena chakritam ragadveshatah kritam tad viparitam aragadveshatah kritam aphala prepsuna phalam prepsatiti phala prepsuhu phalatrishnaha. He who hankers after the fruits of actions. Tad viparitena aphala prepsuna. He who never hankers for fruits of his actions. He is aphala prepsuhu. Tena kartra kritam karma yat tat satvikam uchyate. Rajasam karma. Yattu kamepsuna karma sahankarena va punaha kriyate bahulayasam tadrajasamudahritam. But that action is said to be born of rajas, which is done by one desirous of results or by one who is egotistic, and which is highly strenuous. Bahulayasam. Bhagavan Shankaracharya comments on this. Yattu kamepsuna karma phala prepsuna ityarthaha. Karma sahankarena iti na tattvajnana pekshaya. Kintarhi laukika shrotriya nirahankara pekshaya. Yohi paramartha nirahankaraha atmavit na tasya kamepsutva bahulayasa kartrutva praptihi asti. Satvikasyapi karmanaha anatmavit sahankarah karta kimuta rajasa tamasayoho. Loke anatmavidapi shrotriyo nirahankaraha uchyate nirahankaraha ayam brahmanaha iti tasmat tadapekshya eva sahankarena va ityuktam punah shabdah pada puranarthaha. Shloke sahankarena va punaha ityuktam. स पुनः शब्दः पादपूरणार्थः इति स्पष्टीकृतम् आचार्येण। क्रियते बहुलायासं कर्त्रा महता आयासेन निर्वर्त्यते तत्कर्म राजसम् उदाहृतम्. This is the commentary. Let us see the English of this commentary. Egotistic is not used in contrast to knowledge of truth. In the shloka, it was mentioned that sahankarena kritam karma rajasam, that is being taken up. Egotistic is not used in contrast to knowledge of truth. What then does it mean? It is used in contrast to the absence of egotism in an ordinary person versed in the Vedic path, Shrotriya, Nirahankara. For in the case of the knower of the self, who is not egotistic in the real sense, there is no question of his being desirous of results or of being an agent of action requiring great effort. Even of actions born of sattva, the agent is one who has not realized the self and is possessed of egoism. What to speak of actions born of rajas and tamas? In common parlance, a person versed in the Vedic path, Shrotriya, even though not possessing knowledge of the self, is spoken of as being free from egotism. Thus, this Brahmana is free from egotism. Such usages we listen in the world. So, here, therefore, Sahankarena va is said in contrast to him only. That means it is a relative usage. That's what it is intended here. Next, tamasikam karma. What is the lakshana of tamasika karma? Anubandham kshayam himsam anapekshya cha paurusham mohadarabhyate karma yattat tamasamuchyate. That action is said to be born of tamas, which is undertaken out of delusion and without consideration of its consequences, loss, harm, and ability. That means when we perform something without considering the pros and cons, then we are probably performing a tamasika karma. Acharya comments on this. Anubandham paschadbhavi yat vastu saha anubandha uchyate tancha anubandham kshayam yasmin karmani kriyamane shakti kshayaha artha kshayaha vasyat tam kshayam himsam pranibadhancha anapekshya, without considering that, anapekshya cha paurusham purushakaram, means without considering one's capabilities. Shaknomi idam karma samapayitum ityevam atma samarthyam anapekshya iti etani anubandhadini anapekshya paurushantani अनुबंधादीनि पौरुषांतानि अनपेक्ष्य मोहात् अविवेकतः आरभ्यते कर्म यत् तत् तामसं तमो निर्वृत्तम उच्यते. Thus we have three types of karma: rajas, sattvikam, rajasikam, rajasam, tamasam karma. We have to have these things in front of our eyes, in the mental eye, so that we may try to advance, we may try to rise from the tamasa level to the rajasa, and then from rajasa to the sattva. One more division of karma is brahmam, kshatram, vaishyam, shudram. This also is found in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Let us not mistake these terms in the modern socio-political scenario. That means when we study scriptures and come across words like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, you should not mistake them to what you see in the present age in this socio-political milieu. We should understand these as the prototypes. Prototypes of what? The body and mind constitution. If we understand, if we see these words from this point of view, then there will be no conflict in society at all. So we will go through these words and their definitions and the karma prescribed to them from this vantage point. What is Brahmana karma? Means the karma, the action that is fit to be performed by a Brahmana. Brahmam karma kim? Shamodamastapashaucham kshantirarjavameva cha jnanam vijnanamastikyam brahma karma svabhavajam. The natural duties of the Brahmanas are the control of the internal and external organs, austerity, purity, forgiveness, straightforwardness. Arjavam, it's a very nice word. It is hard to translate that. Arjavam, Riju. Knowledge as also wisdom and faith. Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam. Knowledge, Jnanam, Vijnanam, wisdom, and Astikyam, faith. In the Shankara Bhashya, we may notice this difference. Shankara always speaks of jnana as the scriptural knowledge, Shastra Jnana, and Shankara mostly uses the word vijnana in the sense of experiential knowledge, not just the book learning. Vijnanam anubhavaha, jnanam Shastra Jnanam. This is a little different from the classical usage. In the Amarakosha, you find Mokshe dhir jnanam anyatra vijnanam shilpa shastrayoho. There the terms denote a little different thing. There jnanam means moksha vishayini buddhihi. Vijnanam means shilpadi kaushalam, the technology, the science, the learning, the worldly excellence. That is vijnana in the classical Sanskrit. But in Vedanta and especially Shankara Vedanta, jnanam means scriptural knowledge, Shastra Jnana, and vijnanam means anubhava jnana. So now let us see. If we apply this criteria today, we can pick and choose who are Brahmins. Then there will be no conflict at all. You will find that Brahmins are born in other sections of the society also. That means wherever you find Shama, Dama, Tapaha, Shaucham, Kshantihi, Arjavam, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam, he is a Brahmin. If he fails in that, he is something else. Next, Kshatram Karma, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Shauryan Tejo Dhritirdakshyam Yuddhe Chapyapalayanam Danamishvara Bhavascha Kshatrang Karma Svabhavajam. The natural duties of the Kshatriyas are heroism, boldness, fortitude, capability, and also not retreating from battle. Apalayanam, generosity and lordliness. If you find these qualities in a person who is born in superior class, then you should understand that he is Kshatriya. And if someone is born in the Shudra class and he possesses all these qualities, then he is actually Kshatriya. In Kali Yuga, everything has become jumbled up. It is a total chaos now. So the earlier Varnashrama system is not now available in its pristine form. We should understand this. That is why Sri Krishna said, he says in the 4th chapter, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtang guna karma vibhagashaha. Guna, the quality, the eligibility, the prerequisites, and then karma, what he is engaged in the day in and day out. Every day he performs, say, worship, and is always engaged in studies, but he is born in some lower community in the modern parlance, then we may consider him as Brahmana in qualities, but because of some prarabdha karma, he is born in the lower community. Like that, we may understand. Next, Shudrang Vaishyam Karma. What is Vaishya Karma? Krishi Gaurakshya Vanijyam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam. The natural duties of the Vaishyas are agriculture, cattle rearing, and trade. Shudram Karma. Paricharyatmakam karma Shudrasyapi Swabhavajam. Of the Shudras too, the natural duty is in the form of service. Thus, we see the divisions of karma, and I close with a remark at the end. Now, after listening to all this, you may have a question in mind. Now, what karma should I perform? The answer is very easy. Bhagavan says, Sri Krishna says in the Gita, Sve sve karmani abhirataha samsiddhil labhate naraha. In the 18th chapter, 44th shloka. How clear it is. And again, in the 46th shloka, Bhagavan says, Yataf pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. We need to perform the duties that have devolved on us with utmost faith and sincerity, and that itself will lead us to the ultimate liberation, moksha. One more thing, the last one. Say you have a question in mind in a difficult circumstance. You are caught in a situation where you are unable to decide what you should do. Then what karma should be performed? Taittiriya Upanishad says, Ye tatra brahmana sammarshinaha yukta ayuktaha aluksha dharma kamasyuhu yatha te tatra varteran tatha tatra vartethaha. Should you have any doubt with regard to duties or customs or your behavior, you should behave in those matters just as the Brahmanas do, who may happen to be there and who are able deliberators, who are adepts in those duties and customs, who are not directed by others, ayuktaha, who are not cruel, alukshaha, and who are desirous of merit, dharma kama. By emulating the people who are wise, who are realized, the jnanis, we may also proceed in our path of spiritual journey. Thank you all. I end with this. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Thank you, Swamiji, so much for this informative and insightful session. Karma itself is a very, very vast topic, and thank you so much for scholarly as well as this anubhava engagement into it. So we end this session here, and today in the evening we have a session on Brahmadhyana is through Shruti alone by Swami Brahmavidyananda.